Farming. It's a tradition as old as time itself, passed down through generations. It's the backbone of our nation, the lifeblood of our communities, a symphony of sweat, grit and knowing when to plant by the moon. Or is it? Times are changing. Picture this. A future where overalls come in high-vis and tractors are controlled with an iPad. Technology is transforming the fields. That's right, folks. I was going high-tech, embracing the future with open arms. My great-grandpappy, bless his soul, wouldn't recognize his farm. He used horses and plows. I was using horsepower, but of a different kind, the kind that runs on electricity and software. I'd ordered myself a shiny new drone, a beast of a machine promising to revolutionize my watering schedule. It was like Christmas morning, no more hoses, no more sprinklers, just pure aerial hydration, precision farming at its finest. The future was here and it was buzzing like 1,000 angry wasps, the sound of progress. I imagined the envy in my neighbours' eyes. They'd never seen anything like it. Old man Jebediah, with his mule and his hand-crank irrigation, would be shaking his head in disbelief. The world was moving forward and so was I. The day arrived, bright and promising, with the sun casting a golden hue over the fields. The drone, charged and ready, hummed impatiently, eager to take to the skies and begin its mission. I punched in the coordinates, mapped out the trajectory, and with a dramatic flourish launched it skyward, feeling a rush of excitement. It soared, a mechanical falcon, a beacon of progress. For about 5 seconds, it was a sight to behold. Then it did something unexpected. It nosedived, plummeting towards the ground with alarming speed, straight into the prize-winning pumpkin patch, the pride of my farm. The whirring turned into a strangled sputtering, a sound that signalled disaster. Water, meant for the thirsty cornfield, was now creating a localised flood zone, turning the field into a muddy mess. My prize pumpkins, the ones destined for the state fair, bobbed like oversized apples in a very muddy tub, their fate now uncertain. Now, I'm a patient woman. I've always prided myself on my ability to stay calm under pressure, to take things in stride, and to handle unexpected challenges with grace. I figured even birds fall out of the sky sometimes. It's a natural part of life, right? Things don't always go as planned. So I dried the drone, patted it like a good horse, and consulted the instruction manual. I was determined to get it right this time. Turns out calibrating the altitude sensor was not as intuitive as they made it sound. The instructions were vague, and I had to rely on trial and error. Several band-aids and one mild electrical shock later, I was ready for round 2. My hands were shaking, but my resolve was stronger than ever. This time it didn't nosedive. It hovered steadily, and I felt a surge of triumph. It decided to play a game I call Crop Duster. The drone seemed to have a mind of its own. Picture this, a rogue drone, spewing water like an out-of-control fire hose, drenching everything in its path, indiscriminately baptizing my tomato plants, my lettuce patch, and, unfortunately, Mrs. Henderson's prize-winning poodle, Beatrice. The poor dog looked like a drowned rat. Let's just say Mrs. Henderson, a woman who could curdle milk with a glare, wasn't impressed with my explanation about technological hiccups. She gave me an earful, and I couldn't blame her. After a week of drone-induced disasters, I hung up my high-tech hat. My fields were waterlogged, my prize pumpkins were soup, and I was pretty sure Mrs. Henderson was building a voodoo doll in my likeness. Turns out, farming ain't for the faint of heart, or those with a penchant for flying gadgets. Give me the old-fashioned way, a good pair of boots, calloused hands, and a hose that, thankfully, doesn't require a software update. As for that drone, let's just say it's found a new calling as a very expensive bird bath.